Hello, and welcome to Dear and Friends. My name is Reagan, or Dear, and I'm accompanied by my lovely girlfriend, Meaghan, or...
The
No,
Mrs. Dear?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
the one.
I was going to say it, but I was waiting for her to say it, but then, yeah. You can find us by our Twitter socials or our Instagram socials, which is on Twitter. Mine's at the Dear TV, and your Instagram is...
At Meaghan Gibbs _
Okay, yep. So she can speak much better than I am. That's why she's here. So, basically, a little bit of background information about us is that I'm a computer science student doing my third year at university, and I also stream on Twitch, and I play Fortnite mostly. And I used to be good, but I don't know, a little bit, average now. So that's why I'm adopting a full-time job of podcasting. And how about yourself, Megs?
I'm in my third year of environmental science. We have a YouTube channel together as well. That's something we started 4 years ago now. And we just do vlogs and stuff over there. So that's mainly what I do in my spare time.
You're right. It's been a long, long time. What, 2015?
Uh-huh.
Jeez, I think we've uploaded like 300 and something videos
Yeah, at least.
on that thing. It's a big beast. So basically, what I want to explain today is why we want to do this podcast. And if you know who I am, you'd know that I'm a very curious person. And if you've ever had a class with me, you know that I ask a lot of questions. And that's another statement. Ask anyone that's been in my class; they'll tell you how many questions I ask. So, because of that nature, I thought that it'd be good
He
to...
also loves to chat,
Yeah.
if you couldn't tell.
Yeah, exactly. Because of that nature, I would love to, make a podcast and ask questions to people, like interesting characters or interesting people in the world, and also in my network group, questions that wouldn't typically be asked in a normal...
Traditional media interview.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what is the podcast? Tell me.
Podcast?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
What are you going to do?
So basically, it's a interview style podcast where it's not really an interview. Like, it's not a Q&A. It's kind of having a conversation. So we're bringing in some amazing guests every week, and we'll be talking about random different things. But obviously, it's based on their background.
Seeing as you're bringing on guests, I feel like the audience should probably get to know you a little bit beforehand. So, tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, you've already kind of told us what you're doing, but like, what are you passionate about?
That's a good question. I'm really passionate about talking. I really love talking. I love doing stuff online. I mean, that's what I've always wanted to do when I was a kid, is do something online. I think that's a really cool way to, make a career, because it's one of the most trying and challenging careers, because
It's so new
it's so new
and
and
it's always changing.
it's always changing, much
Mhm.
like the internet. And I don't know. I feel like I owe it to myself to do something, to do well out of this, because a lot of people will say, "You're not going to do anything. You're not going to make anything of it." I mean, it's kind of the same thing. I Early this year, I went to Melbourne to play a video game in a
Yeah.
tournament. I came like 45th in my heat of 100. So I didn't place that great, but the fact that I went to...
Better than 50% of the people.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that I went to a
Different
tennis
state.
court.
Yeah.
I went to one of the biggest tennis courts in the Southern Hemisphere to play a video game.
Yeah.
Kind of shows these people that said, "Oh, you won't amount to anything playing games." Wrong, So
Yeah. You put your mind to it, it happens.
that's it.
So, you were saying just before that you're really a curious person, but like, what inspired you specifically to start this podcast? What really ticked it in your mind to be like, I need to have a platform for these people?
Yeah, definitely. I think that I love talking, and it gives me opportunity to talk to people that I wouldn't have an opportunity talking to.
Yeah.
And basically, I want to platform people that are able to say what they think, feel, whatever, and have a topic or debate or whatever with me. That wouldn't usually have that, and I think it's going to help me understand the world more. And I also want to do it because I want to be learning new things every day. I want to be challenged with my thoughts. So if I have a I don't know, can't think of the word. If I have like a preconception of something, I want to talk to the expert about it, and then them tell me whether I'm right or wrong, or what differences there are, or actually the full story of the whole thing.
Of
Because
one.
obviously, if you get told something by Joe Blow, they are only going to know 60% of the story, and they're only going to tell you 10%
Yeah.
of that. So you don't really get the full story.
Yeah.
The air date of the podcast will be on the 1st to the 2nd of June. I'll be having on a guest straight away. It'll be live stream on Twitch, and then the following day will be uploaded to YouTube and the following your favorite platforms. So that's podcast, iTunes Podcast, Google Play,
Alright.
SoundCloud, Spotify, Stitcher, Blueberry,
Literally anywhere you can find a
iHeartRadio,
podcast.
anywhere you can find a podcast, we should be on there.
And we'll have links to all of that in the description of the podcast down below if you guys can check that out if you want to tune into the live stream, which I think would be a really cool experience. I haven't seen that done a whole lot before, so I think that's really cool.
Yes, and hopefully if we can, we might be giving the live stream viewers a special opportunity to ask the guest questions. We're still planning that because it's...
The plan is to have my role as essentially the producer will be to kind of monitor what's going on in the chat in the live stream, and if you guys have any questions for the specific guest, there'll be a section at the end of the show where I can kind of read those out and get them to really answer your real-time questions.
So you want to know what we're doing and why we're doing it, but I think we also owe you that, you know.
Who are you doing it with?
Yeah, that's right. I was gonna say who are we doing? No, that's naughty. We have some guests that have said yes to season 1 or quarter 1, so you expect to have these amazing guests between June and September. So these amazing guests we have on quarter 1 or June to September, you expect will be Kiki, Renegade Sozo, Foster the Choc, Thriller, Nova Berries, Jessa, Sam Rawwood, Altari, John Flap, and Alethea. And also Ben and Cordell. So
And me.
And Megs, of course.
In all the episodes.
So expect a lot from them. It's a wide category of people. So if you're thinking it's going to be talking about video games, you're wrong, buddy.
I mean, it's going to be reasonably centered around that for the first little while anyway, because that is your community right now. That is where you have found a lot of these people. So, of course, that's going to be your middle ground. But I think we're hoping in the future to kind of expand out to hopefully one day more mainstream celebrity type people. But yeah, I think the idea from what you've explained to me is that we want to get successful people from all walks of life and really pick their brain, and so that we can bridge that gap between the successful people in the industries and the curious people out there like you that may want to listen.
Definitely. That's a really perfectly way of summing up. I mean, that's why she's here, guys. I said she really pulls out what I'm thinking and actually puts it on paper. And
5 years of being together does that.
Yeah, she's like my translator. I mean, I kind of half expecting, like, I'll be talking to this guest and they'll be like, what? And then you just, like, turn your mic on, like, you just do this. Yeah, so he actually means this. I mean, that'd be funny. So, yeah, I mean, a little bit about gaming and esports and stuff like that, but I kind of want to ask them more in-depth questions because I'm sure they've been asked that already on their Twitch channels and on their channels. Like, oh, do you only play this game? Why do you play this game? Like, no, I'm not asking those questions. It's going to be like more in depth and much more breadth to the interview.
Yeah, for sure.
And don't think that it's going to be an interview. It's going to be a conversation. I want to make sure that we preface that as a conversation, not just an interview.
So I think that's it. I think you've covered everything. And I guess if anybody has any questions, they can leave it in comments down below, or they can come and find you on your Twitch and harass you in the chat.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of expect for people to be like, can I be in a show?
Yeah.
There'll be difficult questions I can't answer.
Yeah. So if you want any of the links to anything that we've mentioned so far today, that'll all be in the podcast description.
So, yeah, like Meag's saying, you can find our YouTube, my Twitch stream, our YouTube vlog channel, as well as the podcast clips and other things, and also the podcast, just audio sound on the platforms and the links below. Hopefully we can find something that actually puts all those links together so you can just click one place.
And don't forget that we will be live streaming every episode. The dates will be released beforehand, so if you're following all the social media, that's probably how you'll be notified.
Definitely. And if you click that notification bell on YouTube, you'll know
every time it's uploaded.
Exactly. Other than that, we'll see you in June.
Thanks for listening.
Bye, guys.